Welcome to Subramani. Preparing for COVID death. If you saw the title, it's very important because one is you have to be anyway prepared for death. That can happen to anybody anytime. But there is something very peculiar to COVID death, especially the second wave, and perhaps I do not know how it's going to be the third wave or the fourth wave, is to realize that death happens in a cluster, even in one house. So suddenly either the husband and wife are dead, or the wife and son are dead, or these kind of combination. Now what happens is most MFDs, IFAs, banks will encourage you to invest with without a nominee. In case you're investing, they will say, oh, your children are minor, it chalega sir, as long as you are joint with your wife, or either or survivor with your wife, don't bother, you don't need a nominee. Now this is perhaps not good advice even during normal times, but during COVID times it is disastrous advice, because if a husband dies on a Sunday and wife dies on a Saturday, there was just not enough time in between for the family to understand that they have to change the nominee and things like that. So husband is the first, let us call them A, Mrs. A, Junior A and Junior B, whatever, two kids. So if it is Mr. A's money, then Mr. A should be the first holder, Mrs. A should be the second holder, and the children should be the nominee. Now if the children are minor, there is a bit of a hassle getting the children to be the nominee, so you get one of the parents. So when your children are minor, there's a good chance that your parent would be alive, so get one of your parent or siblings. Please put a nominee. A nomination is absolutely essential. Yes, it can be a terrible situation where the husband, wife and the nominee all die. That is a real disastrous situation. But if you can put two nominees, that is even better. Now probability of all four dying, I think, seems to be much lesser than the probability of one and two dying, right? And I'm seeing it very often. Very often it's happening that right now I know of a case where a 41-year-old boy has died. His mother is okay, his sister and father are in the hospital. The father is struggling, father has got comorbidity, right? So if there is something which is held by the father and son duo, then you would have lost both of them and the family would have no nomination. So how does one prepare for such eventualities? One is having the mental strength. I know of a case where a 40-year-old was in a hospital, and we didn't know anybody there, so somebody found a contact of a nurse. The nurse saw the boy, man, and gave a feedback saying he's very scared, he's unlikely to survive, and true to her prediction, he died in 3 days. So first of all, have your mental strength. Think of COVID as a flu, right? You're going to get it, you're going to come out of it, and you're going to come out alive. Forget whether you have comorbidity or anything. So whatever suits you. I mean, for some people it could be exercise, some people it could be meditation, for some people it could be prayers. Find your strength in whatever it is. Definitely you need to do some exercise at home, some floor exercises, some body weight exercises. If you have gym equipment, using them, whatever. So physical fitness, mental fitness, there is absolutely no escaping the mental fitness. You need to have to be mentally strong, saying yes, I'll get COVID, it's okay, I'll come back, I'll come out of it, right? That kind of a mental strength. These two are necessary. Making your will, it is becoming more and more important that you make your will, and you make your will assuming that you and your wife will die. So it has to be very clear, saying this is my asset, this should belong to my wife after I die, and after my wife's death it should belong to my children, right? Make that will properly, word it properly, write everybody's PAN number, Aadhaar number, everything, and make it that way. Simplify your investments, because real estate, if your children are not interested in real estate, they will not manage it. It is too painful. Mutual fund redemption is much easier. Mutual fund transferring it to the nominee is much easier. It is not so easy when you're handling real estate. Real estate is extremely painful. Finding tenants is not very easy. Selling it is not easy. If the husband is dead and the wife is dead and there is no nominee, it's going to be a disaster for the kids. So as far as possible, simplify your assets, make your assets less complicated, especially if you're 70 plus, right? So simplify the process. So, next, also understand that find out how much insurance you need. That is another important thing, and this is especially true if you are a doctor or any other professional, because a doctor can go at age of 50 and borrow money to put up a dispensary or a clinic or a hospital, and therefore he is very likely to have outstanding loans, right? So see how much of insurance you need, see how much is your current income, see how much income your family, your wife and children will need if you are not around. Or if the husband and wife both are earning, find out how much is the gap that you have in assets. Let us say you think you need assets worth 4 crores for your family to live when you are not around. Do you need 4 crore of insurance? No, for heaven's sake, no. If you are a 55-year-old doctor or a 53-year-old doctor who has put together, say, 3.5 crores, then the gap is 50 lakhs. That is the only insurance you need. You need insurance of just 50 lakhs, which is the gap between how much you think you need and how much you think you have. Maybe you add another 25 lakhs to it. But having said that, make sure that you've considered all the borrowings and everything has to be repaid. If you have a clinic, assume it won't sell. If you have a house, assume it won't sell, because in case of distress it will just not sell. So if you are valuing your own house, if at all, value it at 1/4 the current value. If you think your house will sell for 2 crores, value it at 50 lakhs. If you think your clinic will sell for 4 crores, value it at 1 crore. Right? That way you will not overvalue. That way you're not ignoring it also. But please understand, your children or others may not be able to sell that property to realize it. So be ready for that. Provide enough cash flow. Anyway, you should have enough cash for meeting your next 3 months, 6 months expenses. We have no clue when there will be a lockdown, whether you will be able to see patients, whether your income will continue, right? So provide for all that. But that apart, when you assess your insurance, please understand, the minute you get a COVID attack, you become almost uninsurable from a life insurance point of view and a medical insurance point of view. Also understand that insurance companies are here to make profit. The minute they realize that you are a doctor working with COVID patients, they may either jack up the rates or they may just deny you the insurance. So find that out. Don't get emotional. There's nothing emotional. Insurance companies are here to make money, not to do charity. So they will invariably say, we will not give you insurance because you're working with COVID people. It sounds cruel. It sounds very harsh, but this will be true for anybody working with COVID. Whether you're a nurse, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a ward boy, it doesn't matter. Right? Even if you are a person being forced to go out every day, the insurance premium could be higher for you. Because please understand, insurance works on the probability. If they think you will not die, they will give you insurance. If they think you will die, they will just deny it, right? So find out how much insurance you have, how much insurance you need, and what is the gap, and fill it up. Ditto for medical insurance. Do not take COVID insurance. Just doesn't matter. Don't exaggerate the fears, right? Just take enough general insurance. So whether you get a kidney failure or a liver failure or COVID or just an accident, you should have enough insurance. How much? Maybe 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, depending on your standard of living, depending on how much cash you already have, how much wealth you already have. Depends on all this. In fact, normally the person who needs it the most is the person who can't afford it, and the person who can afford it may not even need it. So medical insurance and life insurance is a very funny thing, right? So you be careful about it, and write down as much as possible. Write down in case you want to share your password with your wife and children and all that. And children, I mean children above 14 can understand all this. Don't treat them, oh bachcha hai, bachcha nahi hai. They understand. You have to prepare your children for life without both the parents. It sounds morbid, it sounds cruel. I'm going to circulate this in many WhatsApp groups. I request you to do it. There is absolutely no way how people don't have to do all these things. Medical insurance, general insurance, I'm just summarizing. Make sure you have adequate. I'm not speaking on behalf of the insurance industry. I mean, no insurance company is going to give me money for being so generic. I have to name the company to get paid. So no, I'm not doing it. I'm just doing it for your benefit. So please, for heaven's sake, circulate this video. Make sure you understand it. Make sure you implement it. Thank you.